Freaking sweet.
Well, it depends on the deal I can get in the Metal Club.
Yeah.
Well, hey everybody, we're live on the G Play podcast.
Woo.
This is
Woot,
our
woot.
live portion of our show.
We do that.
We do that. What's up, Mike? So I am trying. I've been doing my homework outside of here, trying to get multicam shit working.
Yeah.
Get things set up. I need to order a few things for to hold
Right.
cameras. And then at some point I'll probably need at least like an hour in here,
That's
just
okay.
kind of wiring shit up.
Yep.
I think I've got it. So
Cool.
up the production value just a little bit.
Yep. The live
Yeah.
portion.
Just for
of
the
it.
live
Yeah.
portion, for what the people on Facebook and YouTube see.
Exactly.
Because I mean, we discovered this is a great audience. I
Yeah.
love having people live with us and watching what we do. Love it a lot. But that's such a small portion of our
Yeah.
audience. Our audience, the majority of it is through our podcasts and through the
Mm-hmm.
audio side.
Which blows my mind.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that this many people like to listen to us every week.
There were some staggering numbers when we
Yeah.
got down to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome. But yeah. We're a lively bunch, I gotta tell you.
It's been a long weekend, long
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
I need a 2-day sleeping vacation. Do they have those? Can I just go to sleep for 2 days?
They do have those.
But
Yeah.
pretend it like I don't actually.
Hey, Steve, how you doing? Steven. I'm sorry, I missed the N. No, but I'm excited about that. I mean, being able to up our production value might actually
Yeah.
get us more participation here, which every bit of participation on the live just bleeds over to even more participation.
Yeah. I think YouTube is becoming more of a live watching
Platform
platform too.
Yeah, it's
Overall.
definitely getting there. Now, I want to. When we first started doing these lives, Instagram Live wasn't a thing. I mean, it was, but it wasn't
Yeah.
accessible. I think they've changed the TNCs, and I think it's now accessible
It
to do
is,
what we
but
do.
I think there's time limits on it,
Yeah.
and we are way over that time
Are we?
limit.
Well,
Maybe.
if
I don't know.
If we start out
I
the first
think
15 minutes, and
Yeah.
then people,
are eager to listen to the
yeah,
rest.
maybe do more. Who knows? So we're just gonna chit chat for a few minutes while we bring in a few more people and they get into what we're doing. Because honestly, the show's always fun. What's up, Jamie? How you doing? It's always a good time when
More are watching.
more are watching. Yes. There it is. There it is. Yeah, so we've got a great episode tonight. Dr. Don's going to get doctory, and we can get a little nerdy. I love it. What's up, Wayne?
Wayne. That guy's got some cool shit at his shop.
He does. He's a cool dude,
They're very cool.
and
Yeah.
that
I never put two and two together. I had been there a while ago.
Yeah,
to look at a CJ, and they were really great people. And
Yep.
I was roaming around the shop with, I don't know, one of their sons maybe. It was family.
Yeah.
He's younger, but very cool people.
But so it's Dave and Wayne's in Bethlehem.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, I mean, Wayne, you might have to correct me on here, but Dave and Wayne, he isn't the Wayne.
No,
I think he's the son of Wayne,
right.
which I think would be a really cool T-shirt to make.
The son of Wayne. Yeah.
Son of Wayne.
Yeah.
But no, they do phenomenal work,
Yeah.
and they're just fair. They're quick.
Yep.
They're everything you want
Yeah.
in
I think
in a shop.
I think the thing for me is like I love my Jeeps, but I'm a motorhead out
Yeah,
and
yeah.
out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so are they.
They
They're sewn from the same cloth.
yeah, and they know their stuff. And
Yep.
my vehicle goes to either you guys or my kid. You know, It's-
Right.
But for Kelly's, 100%,
Yeah.
we're going there
Yeah.
because the honesty, the people. The
Yes.
people there
Yeah.
are fantastic at the front desk.
Yep.
Everybody, and Wayne, he's an awesome guy, and he's a good wheeler. He's,
Yep. Definitely. That's a win-win situation for anybody looking to get some work done.
100%. And they're not even a sponsor of the show yet.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Nod, wink, wink. Come on, Wayne.
Wayne, how do you feel about people coming out of state to bring their rigs to you? It's awesome.
I definitely don't think he would care.
No.
Yeah.
No. Is it Allentown or Bethlehem?
It's
the
Bethlehem.
shop? Yeah, that's
That's
what I
Bethlehem,
thought. It's
yeah.
right off of 378, right?
Yep.
All right.
I know where the exit is. I know where it is, but
Right.
I don't know.
I still use GPS.
The Wayne was his grandfather who started the business
Okay.
with his friend Dave. Now it's my dad, brother, and me. That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yep.
I love
There's
it.
history there.
Part
Yeah.
of me wants to leave teaching to do that with my sons. Part of me.
Part of you. Yeah,
Part
sure,
of me.
Sure.
But then the reality kicks in.
I know your kids.
Yeah. There's
It would be you.
We would-
doing everything.
No, you know what? I mean, they're hard work, but we definitely would have to put in like some kind of cage or something for them to fight in.
In the back.
Yeah.
Look, that oil is not for drinking.
Yes.
That is not the drinking oil. That's over there.
All right, we have to follow up with Wayne.
Yeah, we do. Speaking of following up,
Yeah.
so I know that Huddy's Beer Bomb,
Oh.
they sponsored. Was it an episode? I mean,
Yes.
they did.
Huddy's Beard Bomb, best beer bomb in the face of the planet.
Yeah, throw up some great money
Yeah.
with that. I used this is how cheap a person I am. I used our own discount code to order
Oh my gosh.
some beard balm. But somehow my address got screwed up.
Oh.
And so I still haven't gotten it. They know they're getting it to me.
Gotcha.
I'm not worried about it. It's great. But
Great service.
oh,
Great
and
products.
good people. I mean,
Good people.
good people. So, it's I don't. Where's my show notes? I don't know where my show notes are because I've got. I think it's just Huddy'sBeardBomb.com.
Yes, it is.
So you go there. I think we have a
It's not on the show notes. You didn't put it there, dude.
Dude, I suck. Well, I think I took all the
Yeah, you took it
that
all
stuff
out.
out.
You know, how do we remember what we
I
need
know,
to say?
I know. But they're just good people, and we do have a
I've been meaning to order some of that too.
Here, hold on, let me see.
I do got to give a shout out.
It's Jeep
you're
Life
done.
Pod for 10% off of Huddy's Beard Balm at
All right.
huddysbeardbalm.com. Some real nice flavors, some some stuff. Got hats.
Get your beard conditioned properly.
Yes.
Proper beard care is key.
It really is.
Do you take care of your beard?
Yeah.
The motor oil at work.
Yeah, that's right.
Just rub that in.
Yeah. So I'm going to give another shout out to American Metal Finishers in Pottstown.
Okay.
They just did some powder coating work for me.
Oh yeah.
Top notch. So
Yeah?
anybody that needs, and they've got stuff to do, big parts.
Okay. So they have
So-
big ovens.
The huge ovens.
Yeah.
I think you probably fit a car in them.
Let's powder coat a car.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to give a shout out to them too, because they did some work for me, and it was back in 3 days. And
Wow, that's quick.
It looks real good.
Cool.
So anybody looking for powder coating, American Metal Finishers, Pottstown.
Nice.
Tell them the Jeep Life podcast sent you.
Yeah, we'll put it on the show notes. One episode.
Nice.
That's AMF Inc. American Metal Finishers.
It's too dark and I'm too old to be able to read that here. Yo, what's up, Jason, friend of the pod, and Neil. Cool. Well, I think if everyone go out and share it out and get some people on, that'd be great. If not, I'm gonna hit that button in a couple seconds and get rolling. But I'm super stoked about this coming year. It's good to have Don back in the studio.
Yeah. It's
Heck
first
yeah,
time in
me
what,
too.
3 weeks, 4 weeks?
It's been a hot minute, yeah.
Yeah. Gonna mark us as COVID-19 update.
Safe.
Safe.
And done.
What's up, Troy? All right.
Troy, we got to plan Tennessee again.
Yeah, no kidding.
And the buggy will be semi-street legal.
Lights doesn't make it semi-street, not even close.
That's semi.
No, it is Tennessee.
Side-by-sides are legal down there.
It's crazy. They will. All right, cool. I'm going to hit that button and we're going to get rolling. Rolling. I don't remember which button it is. Well, hey, everyone, and welcome to the Jeep Life Podcast. We're that podcast where we celebrate the Jeep life and everything that comes along with it, from the sand to the rocks to the mountains to the malls. Get out there and enjoy your Jeep life and hopefully play us while you're doing it. I am your host, Jeep and Terry, and as always, I'm joined in the studio by the two best co-hosts that you can possibly have. And this week, I'm joined by Dr. Don. Woo! What's up, buddy?
Nothing. What's going on with you?
Living
Dig
life.
That hat, man.
Thanks,
I like
man.
that Moab.
Moab. Oh, yeah.
You remember which one you had on? Yeah.
Not until you said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this hat, too.
Yeah.
It's a nice hat.
Cool.
I think I got it in Moab. Yeah.
That was a mail order, huh?
No, it definitely wasn't.
All
It was like 6 t-shirt shops later. You know, looking for that right hat that fits your
Right,
head
right,
and,
right.
and kind of pays it in.
Well, you're not a cowboy.
No. Although I almost bought a cowboy hat for that trip because I thought, I'm going to see what
Well,
persona
listen, you can't,
goes
you,
along, but I
you,
can't.
You can't do the cowboy hat without the cowboy boots and the buckle. So,
That's-
I mean, you got to gear up, man.
And my shorts with cowboy boots would not
Yeah.
be.
No, I think
no.
it'd be totally cool.
That would.
That is a look.
That is
Let me
definitely a
tell
look.
you, that will be a look.
And a time when different is accepted,
That's
you
true.
should just go for it.
I'll do it with you.
See, this is what this is what we miss when Dr. Don's not in the studio. There's a slight bit of absurdity and a
Little
whole
bit.
lot of love.
Heck yeah, man.
I love it. Breaking Billy, what's happening?
Oh, just same old, working in the garage.
Yeah, you've got a lot to do. I mean, to get Reaper ready for the
There's
Philly
like
Auto Show.
10 pounds of dirt mushed into that paint,
Yeah,
and it is It's coming up, but now it's polishing a turd, man.
It is, but man, the stuff you've done with that this year has been, or this past year has been
Let
great.
me tell you, it shows. It has its beauty marks. Let's put it that way.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And it's great to get out there and do that. I mean, I love that you're the off-road king, beat it upside the mountain.
Yeah, and then I pull it in the garage, and like over the winter, I'm like, oh, I want to polish the crap
That's
out of
right.
it, so it looks
That's
really good for next year.
So it slides off the rocks.
Well, speaking of sliding off the rocks, I think there might be some modification in the future
Oh yeah.
of some boat sides for it.
Wow.
I thought you were going to go with like 2,000-pound casters right behind the wheels, like right behind the wheel tires. 4 of them, one in each corner, right behind and right in front
Thought
of the back
about
ones.
that. That's a good idea.
I
Yeah,
mean,
just
Cletus
roll-
McFarland like walled a NASCAR.
That is true.
So why can you
It
not do
works.
that? Like off-road casters.
So I was actually thinking about, I saw the Altered YJ on Instagram just did a really nice set of boat sides that they have like a polycarbonate.
It's the same stuff that they use
For,
on
like,
the
cutting
jet boat
boards.
and jet boats. So
Yeah.
the big thing right now is with jet boats, like guys they'll jump stumps and they'll jump dirt.
Yeah, yeah.
So they put the polycarbonate on the underside.
I don't think it's poly something.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever.
They put it on the underside of it. It's just that now they're starting to use it for off-roading too. And the truth of the matter is the stuff's like
Slides.
it does slide much better than metal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
and it's cheaper and
Yep.
it's lighter.
So you create a substructure underneath of it, and
Yeah.
then you put your, you still
I think
use
you
your
get-
1/4-inch plate
I
as
think you
a
get
side.
right. You have to use it has to have a plate underneath.
Yep.
It's not rigid
And
enough to
then
hold the weight of the
you
vehicle.
basically put like countersunk bolts all the way through it.
All right.
So that's
And an outboard motor.
heck yeah, boat sides and outboard motor. We're
We'll-
trolling through
We'll throw
this.
3 outboards on the back of that thing.
We are getting our 43-foot Chris Craft on. It just comes in 113 inches.
Polypropylene
of
slide.
Reaper.
I'll take it. It's all I got.
Polypropylene, I believe,
Polypropylene slide.
is
Well,
what the people's out there
let's
say.
Google it.
Yeah, why don't you Google it
I'm
while
gonna
I
do
go
that.
on to the.
It sounds expensive.
So, let me tell you, I got out with friend of the pod Jason yesterday,
Yesterday.
and we went out wheeling.
Where?
I don't know that it's the same. All right, Pine Barrens in New Jersey.
Oh, he messaged me about that. He didn't. I didn't know that you went. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. Well, I decided literally last second that I was going. Let me describe what the Pine Barrens is. It's this massive state forest.
Yep.
With
Pine trees.
pine trees
Lots of them.
and sand roads.
Lots of them.
And
For miles and miles and miles.
I'm trying not to sound super condescending right now about it.
Mm-hmm.
But we started out, we were a decent sized group, and it was great to be outside. Let's start there. It was great to be outside. If it was springtime and the top was down, and picnic and all that stuff, and it was just a leisurely day out, it would have been spectacular. It would have been awesome for that.
Yeah.
There was the hardest obstacle we had in the entire day was a very, very narrow trail with a lot of brush on each side, giving you paint
So
stripes.
It was dirt roads.
It was dirt roads.
Okay.
First 2 years I owned my Jeep, I would have been all about it. I still am. I still love that. But it was great for a couple hours, and then after that you're like, okay, where's a rock? Where's a down
So
tree
you-
I can
you were
crawl over?
You were looking for more
I was looking for something.
and there was not more.
No,
It was
they do have
lacking.
mud out there, as I'm reminded.
Lots of mud,
Lots of mud.
lots of sand,
I
but
I drove around
not
any
much
mud.
else.
but nothing else. I actually enjoyed the fact that once we broke off from the group, Jason and I looked at each other and were like, yeah, there's got to be more out here. Because we're sticking straight to the larger. I mean, literally, there was one spot that was wide enough to be a freeway, flat enough to be a freeway, and sand, and nice and wide open. And I'm like, yeah.
Let's go.
So Jason and I broke off from the rest of the group. And we just went exploring. If it had a trail on the map, we turned down it
Right.
just to
Were
to
you
go.
using Onyx Off Road?
I was using Onyx off road.
Okay. So big
uh,
shout out to Onyx Off Road.
It wasn't detailed enough
okay.
because some of those trails looked exactly the same as another trail on the map,
Gotcha.
but it was impassable because of the brush.
Right.
And I don't know if that's because of what the state park provides. I'm not sure. But Onyx Off Road does a great job of knowing exactly where you are and following you and be able to
And
drop.
giving you a good satellite view
Yeah.
of what's close and which is important.
It is, and but it was good to be out, but I would have rather driven an hour and a half in the opposite direction
Yes.
and gone to one of the off-road parks
Mm-hmm.
up in Cold.
You were looking for rocks and
I'm just
mountains.
I think it was because it was cold and the top wasn't down. I wasn't feeling that.
Right.
I'm stuck in a Jeep by myself. There wasn't a lot to it. It was so we talked a little bit. Jason and I talked a little bit about scenarios where this would really work, and it would
He
work
said camping.
if you go to camp.
Right.
And you drive into a camp spot, spend an hour driving to a camping spot in there, and then driving out and going somewhere in civilization
right.
and drinking a beer that night. That would I could see that being.
I think even just going back there and hanging out, setting up a tent, having a little campfire
Yeah,
at a civilization for a little while would
Yeah.
be really nice.
I mean, the campsites I saw
Yeah.
look great to do exactly that.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, it was great. I don't want to poo-poo on people that really like the
Hey, it's great
the Pine Barrens.
off-road, just dirt roads, and that's your Jeep life.
Right. And to be honest with you, if you don't need a built-up rig to do any part of that, right? It was, if you're just starting out, I think it's great to get out and do that stuff. And it was a lot less challenging than green trails at AOAA, so you can feel more comfortable that you're not going to rip up your
Paved Trail 101.
So you know what the best part about the Pine Barrens is?
What's up?
Taking your Jeep and just blasting through that sandy water at like 90 miles an hour, and then turn around and do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again.
Right.
Which
That's the
kind of
best
leads
part.
us into our main topic tonight.
That's that's the best part of and I hope everybody can hear this sarcasm in this.
Right. I definitely heard that. So that's kind of where I'm what I was able to get out and do. And
Pine Barrens is beautiful. Something like that is cool because you never know what's around the next corner. And
Pine
it's
trees.
huge. Well, yeah, but there's cool things to see.
now we did find
Like
like
Wharton's-
the ruins of
Wharton
of
State
a
Park
little
is-
village.
right? And that's what I mean. There's cool stuff out there, and there's history.
Well, that's when we broke off from everybody else. We were able to go out and do that sort of thing.
Right.
Because to be honest with you, that was what was fun, was just going and doing this trail
Mm-hmm.
and then going, oh, look, there's an offshoot. Let's go that way. And I didn't have
let's see what
to
happens.
run it by committee. It was great just to go
Who,
by
who
there.
did you go with?
Jason
Weber,
Campbell.
Campbell. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
I mean, you still enjoyed it. It
Oh,
was still
sure,
getting outside,
sure.
still getting in the Jeep and driving.
See,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
like doing that because guess who has to fix their own Jeep? And when we're on black trails, it doesn't matter. You
Right.
gotta fix it.
In-
So,
inevitably, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So stuff like that, Oh yeah, and just the ability to go and see something new or something I haven't done and explore. I'm as good with that as I am.
Yeah, and there were some sand pits that people were, in our group just tore it up through it and ripping through it.
Stuff, yeah.
And then as Jason says, is that the right thing to do for the environment? It looked like fun, cool. I just chose not to do that because I don't want to spend 4 hours cleaning
sand and more
right.
sand.
I mean, I literally spent.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about
abrasive?
Yeah. So that stuff, if that gets into like you bring that water up, let's say you wash out in the front, go blasting through a puddle, I guarantee you within a month you're going to be replacing every idler tensioner on the front of that Jeep engine.
Yeah.
And your U-joints and
right.
your Rizeppa joints and
so
wheel bearings
right.
and every other bearing possible.
Same thing with people when they're out in the beach with their Jeeps and they like splash in the water,
Yeah.
It's just
that
so
salt
hard
water
on
is
them.
It is. I go around mud no matter where I'm at. I try to go around it and avoid it.
I don't want to clean it.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the rear.
So that's what we
Radiator.
What we did.
Our friends over at Cold Case are reminding us that when that stuff cakes into your radiator.
Yeah, true.
And it reduces your cooling capacity.
Sits in the frame. I mean, that's a
Yep.
big part
And
of what
just
rots out frames.
Rusts.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. Got to hang out and meet new people. There were a lot of Yodas out there.
That's cool.
And
what group was this?
it wasn't a group. It was just
People.
People got online and said, "Hey, we're going down today."
That's cool.
And met up at
Nice.
where Piccalilli Inn,
Okay.
which, by the way, the food and service there as a restaurant was phenomenal. We went after.
That's cool.
And it was terrific. And I love that part of it. It was great. The wings and wing sauce, top notch.
Wings.
Yeah, wings. But that's what we did. And all right, so what's coming up in this episode? We got a listener email. We've got a ton of events that people have sent in. You want your events read on air and done with us?
You missed one.
info@jeeplifepodcast.com. Then Dr. Don takes us to the classroom with U-joints versus CV joints.
Yep.
Ooh.
And so that should be a lot of fun. And if I missed one, well, I only went through May.
The one that's in 2 weeks.
Oh, well, I don't know. All right.
All right. Well, first you can catch myself and a rig that Dr. Don is working on currently at the Philadelphia Auto Show.
Oh, right.
In the Custom Alley, which is going to be downstairs, I believe. And Reaper is going to be on presentation, and that is January 28th to February 5th.
Cool. All right, we'll add that to the events part.
Yep.
Cool.
And then February 11th is the Polar Bear covered bridge ride held by the Jeep enthusiasts of Eastern Pennsylvania. Head over to their Facebook page to see that event.
Brr.
Yeah, it sounds cold. I think it means riding around with your top off. And no, that means keep your shirt on.
Oh, I was just going to take my top off, my shirt off and
ride around in the Jeep with the heat on.
Just looking good.
All right, well, don't catch Terry at the Polar Bear Plunge. March 3rd to 5th is the 60th annual. Can you help me with that?
60th annual
Tierra del Sol Desert Safari.
Yeah.
There you go.
4-wheel drive club of San Diego is doing that.
That's pretty cool. And then April 1st through the 9th is Easter Jeep Safari hosted by Red Rock Four-Wheelers out in Utah.
Yep, in Moab.
Yep. I wish I could be there.
I
Probably
can't wait
not
to
gonna
see what
happen.
Jeep is going to release this year.
That will be very interesting. Because it is the big release time.
Yeah.
April 8th is Dirt Road Coalition Easter Hot Springs Off-Road Park Takeover.
It's a lot of
in
words.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas.
That would be a fun time to go ride around with different people. I would love to do that.
That would be a cool time.
Yeah.
And then
Arkansas is kind of a cool state.
yeah?
Yeah.
I've never been there.
To be honest with you, up in the Ozarks, it's gorgeous.
The Ozarks are gorgeous, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
But even the prairie, even the Midwest flatland stuff is cool.
Yeah, I went to a Boy Scout camp in Arkansas, and it was awesome.
That's cool. And then April 29th is Spring Trail Ride for the Jeep enthusiasts of Eastern Pennsylvania. And then I can say also April 30th
Yes.
is going to be another trail cleanup
Oh.
partnering with Jeep Life Podcast, I think Tread Lightly, and Quadratech.
Sweet.
So I was thinking that was our Patreon ride.
It can be. Huh.
Uh-oh, we might have conflicting.
We double booked.
We double booked, oh crap.
All right.
All right,
Either
we'll get back
way,
to you on that.
We're going to get back to
Yeah.
you on that one. But we're planning to do another trail ride at AOA, trail cleanup at AOAA. Help Dave out and the great team up there. So, put that on your calendars. May 6th is Evolution Jeep Alliance Recovery for a Cause up at AOAA.
Yeah.
That's going to be another amazing event. They raise a super great amount of money.
We're going to be there.
Yes, we will be there.
Yeah.
For Recovery for a Cause. I am going to be leading the Black Red crew again up there for that event. I think Don's going to be coming up, and we're going to be having a podcast tent up there as well.
Nice.
And then May 20th is Go Topless for the Jeep enthusiasts of Eastern Pennsylvania. And that is actually a nationwide event
Yes.
where you get to take your top off, no Terry, keep your shirt on again, and do an awesome ride with a whole bunch of Jeepers. We're going to be heading up to Mountain View Winery, Brewery, and Distillery again for the 4th year in a row, I think.
Yeah.
That's an amazing event.
It
So many
is,
Jeeps.
yeah,
We
so many
usually
Jeeps.
take about 150 Jeeps up to this amazing winery on the top.
And
of
it
the
is
hill.
at the same
Yep.
place? Yeah.
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 So that's where we're going to be. Hopefully, not really all those places, but they're the events that are happening possibly in your area, some of the events that we're going to be at, so you can get all of that.
Yeah,
Cool
and
stickers.
I
and
took it all the way up
merch.
through May, and then next month we'll add on June.
Oh,
I think
gosh.
we'll have a rolling cycle with that because it once you hit June and July,
It's every weekend.
yeah, it's crazy. It really
It is
is.
craziness.
But again, if you have you or
Girlfriend
your
is gonna
club,
hate me.
yeah, no doubt, has an event that you'd like us to put on our event page, info@jeeplifepodcast.com, and we'll get it on there.
Yeah, man.
Don, we got a listener email.
We do, but before we do that, we had a question about what they use in the bottom side of boats and what it's called. So there's two versions of it. One
All
is
right.
polyurea, and the other one is actually called UHMW, ultra high molecular weight, which is like a Teflon. So
What was the first one?
polyurea? I saw kind of
Polyupia? What?
yeah, man.
Urethra? What?
Where?
All right, so we're done researching that.
Hard
All right.
plastic.
So we do, and I saw this was on last week's too. I guess we just didn't get to it, huh? This
Yeah.
email.
Yeah, we
but it
didn't
was it's a cool email. Love your podcast. My daughter drives a 2000 TJ that I was going to build. Well, she fell in love, and now it's hers. She used to complain about the podcasts that I listened to because it wasn't the crappy music she likes. Now she has just started listening to you guys and mentioned she wanted a sticker for her little one. That's the name that she chose for her Jeep. If you would send us one, we would appreciate it. I just hope I can get another one and keep it this time. Thanks again. Looking forward to meeting you at all the upcoming events. Well, George, we'll actually send you 2 stickers, and then you can keep the second sticker.
I think
I know what he meant.
Do you have his address?
No, he hasn't sent his address
All right,
in
George,
yet.
if you're listening
Yeah.
or your daughter's listening, the little one, make sure to reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook. Send us your address, and we're going to get you some awesome stickers.
Yeah.
Yep,
So we'll
for
get
sure.
those out. But I appreciate that. And if you have an email you want to share with us, then let's do it. I know that our good friend of the podcast, Roy, said, "What about Jeep Beach?" And that's way down south, and that's in April. So last week in April.
That's the warmer weather.
Yeah. So maybe I'll put that on there too for next time. But anyway, yeah, if you want stickers or want us to read your email on online, info@jeeplifepodcast.com, and we'll get that out there for you. And we appreciate you, George, for doing that for us. All right, we're down to it. We're ready here for our main topic, and it's these are important things to know. Are you going to be doing them yourself or whatever? But I think this is good information.
It is. So, I mean, this is why I got into it. I knew that, and there really is only one company that makes CV joints for Jeeps. Now, that's Wrangler. If you get into like WKs, WJs,
Yeah, that's a totally different
that
ballgame.
they have independent
And
front
that's a
axles.
different type of CV.
No, they're Zeppa.
Well, I mean, like, it's a different
Well,
style.
it's a
of-
tripod,
right.
So that's a tripod. You're right. That's but the one joint is, the other is a Zeppa. But anyway, I always knew which one was stronger, the RCV, obviously.
Mhm.
But I wanted to shed some light on how much and why, and so that we get into a little bit of that, and we get into, a little bit of how they're built and stuff like that. So, U-joints. Basically, a U-joint is a connector that transfers rotation when there's misalignment between two rotating shafts. So that would be the snub and the inner shaft, like on your axle, your front axle,
Right.
or yoke and your dry shaft.
Mm-hmm. It's the cross-looking thing.
It's the cross-looking thing, yep. So they're typically used in front axle assemblies with solid front axles, and they are used in front and rear dry shafts. On occasion, you'll see them in independent-style front and rear axles, but usually, typically, that's older stuff. Most of the newer stuff we use U-joints on.
Yep.
I'm sorry, not U-joints, CVs. So there's two different types of U-joints. We have a cardan U-joint, or what we call a U-joint, and then a double cardan U-joint. So a double cardan U-joint is actually two of them together with a centering ball in between them. And we use that when there's misalignment between the driven and dry shafts. So when you're talking about dry shafts, there's two. Ultimately, to get a dry shaft not to vibrate, you need to have the same angle top and bottom. So what we do is we use a double cardan when it can't be. The one place that recently that we've used them, TJs have them on the front dry shaft.
Jay,
Is that because of the steep angle?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's so short. It's
Yeah, right.
literally,
All right.
Also,
So-
if you buy an aftermarket, say Tom Woods or a,
Like an Adams or something.
Yep,
Yeah.
Right, they have a
Adams, they
double
have
cardan
double cardan
up by the
up
transfer
at the top of the
case
transfer
side,
case,
right?
yes.
And if you do go that route with those dry shafts, just be aware that you've got to pull the yokes off and change the yokes
Yep.
out, because the stock JK JLs are set up for a CV style dry shaft.
and that allows for more misalignment and dropout when you put it at higher angles.
Right. You mean the double cardan?
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
put one at the top and then you
Yep.
put your. We'll get into it.
Parts of a U-joint, you have your journal or cross. That's the center section. Holds the bearing caps, needles, bearings, trunnion face. The trunnion face is machined into it. Some U-joints have a Zerk fitting or grease fittings on them.
Mm-hmm. Some are greasable, some are non-greasable.
Right.
Some are packed for life, and some are
Packed
need
for
a little maintenance.
packed for a little bit.
Yep.
Bearing caps go over the trunnions and hold several other important parts in place. The needle bearings reside between the trunnion and the bearing caps.
I blow those out all the time.
Yeah, you do.
They turn to powder and
Yeah.
go bye bye.
Billy and U-joints don't play well together.
Well, I mean, it was every trip
Let's not talk
in the
about it.
XJ.
All right.
It was every trip
Right.
And every fourth in the buggies.
you
Right,
buy them
right.
by the case.
Yes.
So, basically, the trunnion is a machine portion that kind of sticks out from the cross, and the bearing cap slides over. The needle bearings are in between that. They roll around on the trunnion. Trunnion is just a machine face, and the bearing caps kind of hold them all together.
It's a
So-
machined rod that sticks out.
Let's pretend I'm not mechanically inclined. When you say the needle bearings, most bearings I think of are encased are spherical, right?
These
Correct.
are not.
These
are
are like
cylindrical.
cylindrical
right.
in like a clock setting.
So
right?
right, and the idea is that you're only rotating in one direction. You
right.
don't need to load it like a tapered roller bearing has to have a load on it. These do not.
Okay.
Mhm. It looks like a whole bunch of rollers.
Yep.
All the way
Yep.
around.
Yep.
And if
Perfect.
you look at it from the side, it's a whole bunch of just little circles.
I wanted to make sure I was in the
Yep.
in the right ballpark. All right.
So now at the bottom of that bearing cap is a grease seal. It's a small rubber ring. And all it's there to do is to keep dirt and stuff out of the
Mhm.
trunnion bearing caps.
Yep.
So just a little seal. In fact, when you have a new one and you pull it off, you can actually hear it suction to the trunnion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there's a snap ring that usually goes on above the bearing cap that holds
For front axle shafts, they have an inner snap ring, and then there's also outer snap rings.
on what?
So like drive shafts have outer snap rings that go into the machine face of the drive shaft, and then there's the inner snap rings, which are mostly common used on axle shafts. So when you put them into the two yokes, you put the C clips in.
The C clips, right? Yeah.
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 I was just saying there's two
Okay.
different kinds.
All right. All right. Operating angles. U-joints can operate as much as 45 degrees. Okay.
Wow.
But at high speeds, it's not recommended.
Nope.
So, and this is the research I found on Dana's website and an engineering website. A 1310 U-joint, and this is really, really where I wanted to start digging and see the comparison between the two. 1310 U-joint.
So I actually got to pause you there. There are U-joints that go above 45 degrees.
So there are performance U-joints that will,
Right.
but we're going to get into why it's not as good as a CV.
Correct.
And it doesn't matter if it's a performance or not, but mostly what we're
Right.
using is a standard U-joint. The 1310 U-joint that's commonly used in the Dana 44 and 30 can safely operate at a max of 30 degrees. Max torque of the 1310 at 30 degrees is only 130 foot-pounds. Okay? And then the continuous is 700. That's 130 foot-pounds continuous, and then 790 peak. So you can shock load it
Up to 790 foot-pounds.
right, but not a continuous load over 130. So, and this is where the huge difference is between like a performance U-joint like you're talking about and an RCV style. We're going to get into it. But basically, there's a linear drop-off. As the angle increases,
The amount of pressure that can
the handle decreases. So
Yeah,
there's
sure.
a
That
linear
makes sense.
drop-off.
Yeah.
We don't have that with an RCV. RCVs remain the same strength at up to 45 degrees.
Yes.
Okay. So 1480 can operate at a maximum of 38 degrees. Can operate at a maximum of 38 degrees. Continuous torque is 340 foot-pounds. And peak is 2,000. Yield is 3,300.
They make loud noises when they go boom,
Yes, they do. And they'll spray parts everywhere.
and usually sparks.
So U-joints, servicing U-joints, pretty easy. And I'm not talking about replacing them. I didn't want to write the procedure down for that because that's like a whole nother. We get into a whole nother show on that.
You use lube.
You use NLGI number 2 for a couple pumps in it, and that's it. Do not bleed it. I cannot. So many people over the years have learned that, like when you're greasing ball joints,
just
bleed
make
it.
sure it comes out.
Right, and that is not good, and that's not the idea. The idea is to get a little bit of grease in there and then done. Because once you bleed it, you've ruptured a seal. You can allow for moisture to come in, because that grease that came out, you're gonna wipe it off. The other part is the rest of the grease is gonna now bleed out. So just a couple pumps doesn't take much.
So when you and I've heard this term, Tom Woods, like rear drive shaft as a 1310 rear drive shaft. Is that the 1310
yes.
Yoke
in
yes.
the? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, U-joint, yes. Yeah.
All right. I wanted to make sure that
Yep.
was in a 1350. And
Right.
all right, cool.
All right. So CV joints, again, like the U-joint, it takes two shafts and allows them to operate at misalignment. However, they're built differently. To boot, the CV joints, we're seeing them. I mean, the fact that the Jeep Wrangler has a solid front axle for this long really does surprise me, and it's like I keep waiting for the next model to come out. And
Tried, true, proven.
I think so at this point, but I do keep waiting because everything else has gone to independent.
Everything
and
else.
you have CV joints in the front of that.
Well, I
So-
think even what the all EV Jeep that's coming up,
The Recon
the Recon
is
is independent,
front, yep, independent.
right? Not a solid axle.
Which one? What Jeep are we?
The
It's the-
Recon EV.
The Recon EV. It looks like a
Is that the one?
a
that
Wrangler
looks
and a
like,
Bronco.
Yeah.
kinda-
No, it absolutely is. Yeah.
So I think intentionally Jeep is keeping that solid front axle for the Wrangler, and then for everything else.
Yep.
Right.
So two different types of CV joints. There's a Rizeppa, commonly found in solid front axles,
Yep.
and the other one is a tripod. Now the difference between the two, the Rizeppa you don't need to account for suspension travel. All you need to do is be able to allow it to operate at misalignment. Okay, so the tripod style, actually the joint itself has about, on average, this is different, and you can get, again, performance stuff that may travel more, but for the most part, about 50 millimeters of total travel, where the joint will slide in and out.
Yep.
Parts of a Rizeppa joint, you have the housing that holds the inner race, the cage, the ball bearings, and then it has grooves machined into the housing that allow these ball bearings to slide up and down. Ball bearings themselves, the cage, the cage, which holds the balls to, I knew it, holds the balls,
I was gonna say it.
ball bearings to the inner race. Okay, so now here's how this works.
my elementary school boy is coming out.
What
holding
has
the balls.
What has 52 teeth and holds back a monster?
So the way this works is in this housing, okay, you've got 6 grooves machined around it. You have these 6 ball bearings that are held stationary by a cage.
But I thought they could move.
They don't actually. What happens is the housing moves. Now think about it. The inner race is splined to the axle, right? Then you have your cage.
Yep.
And so that doesn't move. The housing does. The housing moves around it. Okay, so as you turn the wheel, what's actually moving is the housing, not the race and the balls and all that. Now the balls move around, they roll and stuff like that in the grooves, but they stay stationary.
Yeah, they do.
Fucking guys.
You said balls.
Dude, next time you guys are doing something, I'll fuck with the two of you till you fucking both cry.
Balls.
Get it all out now? You done?
Yep. Go
All
ahead.
right. So parts of a tripod. Tripod is totally different. It operates on like these 3 roller assemblies that slide in and out of a groove as well. Housing contains the channels, and there's what they call ball cases. Go ahead. Which are also fixed to a spider and trunnion assembly. And basically what this allows it to do is, again, articulate. So the spider turning assembly is splined to the shaft.
Right.
And
that's stationary.
That's stationary, and it's got like roller.
Right.
It almost, they look like wheels on the end, and they slide back and forth in the groove. But they're not moving. The housing is what moves.
Right.
And what gives it the ability to articulate and
Which
move
is
in and
attached
out.
to the outer side.
Right. Move in and out is the is the fact that those tracks are so long.
Yep.
All right, operating angles. So a Zeppa joint is good up to 45 degrees, and I really, really, really had to dig for this with RCV because they don't make this. I actually had to do some math to come up with this number. But basically, at 45 degrees, it is good for maximum torque, and this is for a Dana 44, 1,580 foot-pounds. Yep.
Wow.
And like I said earlier, the difference is there's a linear decrease with U-joints that is not there with Zeppas. So
Right.
let's say that you're on a rock face or on a ledge or up against a rock, and you have your wheels turned all the way to lock, and you're trying to climb this.
It's still holding.
And it's still holding, and you're loading the vehicle. You have about, with a 1310 U-joint, you have about a third less of,
Right.
strength to hold that together. So you had 3 times the chance of breaking it. RCVs, you do not have that.
Right.
Tripod CV joints operating misalignment angles are as good as 26 degrees, and they're known for not being able to articulate that well because they do have to have the inner and outer travel. I found some torque ratings and stuff, but honestly, this stuff's all over the boards because there's so many variations of it.
Right.
Servicing CV joints, so tripod styles you typically are sealed. And the only time that you're going to service it is if you're like replacing a boot. New boot comes with grease. You put the new grease in, done after you clean the old stuff out.
Yeah.
We don't really rebuild tripod CV joints anymore. Typically, you buy a new half shaft.
Mm-hmm.
Zeppa style are greasable, so they use a HLGI 2 moly grease. I believe it's a 000 grease. So if you have RCVs, you have to use a specific grease with them. The grease fitting is actually in the end of the axle shaft.
Yep.
And you literally just pump the grease right into there.
Pretty sure that's patented.
Yeah, I think it is too. What, the grease?
No,
That style
design.
Yes. Yeah, I think the whole shaft, the whole unit is.
Yep.
And the RCV styles are rebuildable. I just did a set at the shop. They're not hard to rebuild at all.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of nice. And the service kit is cheap. So
That's cool.
Yeah. No. That's it. That's all I got.
So they always remind me of a plunger. When I see them on the inner front axle,
Yep.
The orange.
Yeah, the orange or red, and
Yep.
it definitely has that plunger look.
Yep.
I'm like, we're just.
And that RCV style, so the Zeppa style is the same style that like Mercedes-Benz uses in the G-Wagon,
Mm-hmm.
Land Cruiser uses, Land Rover uses, and the older stuff. So that is tried and true.
Bulletproof.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that. And it's more information than I knew. And now it explains why he blows out so many U-joints.
Because I put them in extreme angles, and they're not designed to do that. And also, I over-rotate them at high angles on top of that, and they're not meant to do that. And then on top of it, I put dirt and
Right.
mud and grease into it, and like sandpaper, and then run them at high speeds.
Yeah, that's not good.
And that's not good.
That's
for them
not
either.
good. Wake up out there, Greg. Don't you fall asleep on me. I know that we're in the classroom, and I know that's how a lot of us. That's how I made it through high school, was falling asleep. But
That's
man,
good. We don't have to do it anymore then.
that's true.
Greg says no.
No, we're doing it. We're doing it. I love it when you bring information in, and I know that Billy and I turn into your worst nightmare students. But U joints. So let's go back to that one. The RCV, like axle shafts, they're more expensive than like a U joint.
Significantly.
Significantly, yes. But again, they're rebuildable. And U joints are too. I mean,
And they are the
put,
strongest axle shafts on the.
So, honestly, you want something that's bulletproof, go with the RCVs. Bottom line. And I knew they were stronger. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know how much stronger.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when there's no misalignment, I don't know that they're a whole lot stronger. And those numbers are really hard to find. I don't know that there's a whole lot of difference between a U-joint and an RCV. I'm sure there is, but not as much. The big advantage comes into when you're at lock.
Right.
Or, there's large amounts of misalignment.
So I'm going to try to interpret misalignment when you use that
I'll
phrase.
give you. So imagine drawing a straight line straight through the shaft, both ends. Okay.
Yep.
Now, as you articulate that line creates an X through the center of the joint.
Yep.
Okay. That distance between in the X is and that's a cosine actually, is the misalignment.
And that's the same kind of idea, whether it's, the drive shaft coming out of the transfer case to the axle, or in their steering as well, right? Because anytime you turn your
it's the
tires,
it's the bend in the axle.
right?
Yep.
So I just wanted to paint that picture.
Calculation of
for me, because when I hear misalignment, the only thing I go to is my, wheels are out of alignment. That's a bad thing. But in this case, misalignment is something that's absolutely necessary for our vehicles to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
Steer.
Mm-hmm.
So steering,
Mm-hmm.
it's axles dropping and changing distance from.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Changing the angle.
All right, I'm done. Let's sign off.
Don's ready to go home.
I'm done.
We pissed off Don.
Oh, not you.
Oh
Let's go. Let's sign off.
no. All right. Anyway, where can people find us?
Oh.
That's you.
You can head over to Patreon and you can support us there. And if you support us at the $10 level, I think you get a hat after subscribing for 3 months. So go do that.
I don't know that we do the hat,
Oh.
because we can't get hats anymore.
Oh. That stinks.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I'll have to edit that out.
All right. Well, support us on Patreon if you want to just contribute to the Jeep Life podcast. Also, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe, follow, leave us a comment. Nice comments only.
Do it.
Do it.
We haven't figured out what we're doing the next week, but be sure to check us out and follow us through that. For Dr. Don, Billy, and myself, here's a big Jeep wave to you, everyone. Have a good night.